This is really Shiur 7. I don't know the slide for it, but okay, so let's do a quick recap and we're going to get into the lumdis. Okay, so again, the Shagas Aryeh's question was an Elam Sheinu Medaber, right? Okay, so now physically he cannot speak, right? So the question is, can he use Shemei Ka'ona? We know the Torah says V'dibarta bom, literally speak V'dibarta, you should speak. I'm sorry for jumping. Can he use Shemei Ka'ona? That is the question. All right, and really the question is, does Shemei Ka'ona work if he can't speak? All right, why would we think it wouldn't? Because Kol Roy Labila ain't Bila Makevas Bo, but if it's not Roy Labila, Bila's Makevas Bo, and that in fact seems to be the Shur Leket's position. Shur Leket takes a similar case. Mispal V'Shem HaKadosh HaKadusha. A man's dominating, and he hears Kadosh HaKadusha Lo Yotze B'Shmiya, even though he's using Shemei Ka'ona, even though he has a mind to be Yotze. It doesn't work because Kol Shein Roy Lebila, Bila Makevas Bo. Okay? And that is a Shur Leket's position. Since he's forbidden to speak in the middle of davening, therefore he can't use Shemei Ka'ona. And now it's the Shagas Aryeh's Kol Shekain though. Shagas Aryeh says this man who's davening is forbidden to speak, and yet he can't use Shemei Ka'ona. Kal v'chomer to an Elam who physically can't speak, meaning the Mispalo could speak, but he just halachically isn't allowed to. Yet the Shur Leket says you can't use Shemei Ka'ona. Kal v'chomer by an Elam who physically can't speak and must speak because Kol Shein Roy Lebila, Bila Makevas Bo. Shagas Aryeh argues, and he says no, we can't use Shemei Ka'ona by an Elam, and he's going to bring a raya. Now, first, very quickly, so Bila Makevas Bo, he explains, is by the mincha l'gatchila you have to do belila, and if you can't do belila because it's 61 asronim, so it's not roy lebila. That's true. But over here, Shemei Ka'ona, he l'gatchila can use this system called Shemei Ka'ona, and since Shemei Ka'ona is literally like he's speaking, it's a system of speech, so it's 100% l'gatchila. Okay, so far so good. Now the Shagas Aryeh brings the raya. His raya is from Tkiyah Shofar, M'chatzi Eved, M'chatzi Ben Chorin. Okay, so here's the case. So this man is in an unusual situation. He is half of him is an Eved and half of him is Ben Chorin. So his problem is that half of him has the same din as any Eved. Half of him has a din of any man. So he's obligated, not obligated. But here's really the problem. The problem is when he blows, the Shmiya is a problem because it's going to be half a kol of a Mechuyev Davar, half a kol of an Eved. So what do we do in this case? So when he blows, what he's going to hear is half a tkiyah. So his tkiyah might be okay, meaning it might not be a problem. The problem is the shmiya because he has to hear a full shmiya and he's hearing half and not enough. So he can't be motzi himself. What is Gemara's conclusion? It must be he must hear a show from a free man. So the free man blows. That's a good shmiya. And when he hears the full shmiya, he's everything's good. Now, here's the Shagas Aryeh step. Since he can't be motzi himself, if you blow himself, it wouldn't work. So it should be Kol Shein Roy Lebila, Bila Shemei Kevas Bo. Why? Because if he blew, it wouldn't work, so he can't blow. So what do you see? You see that he can't do this. If he can't do this, so how could he be Yotze when someone else is doing it? It should be a situation of Kol Shein Roy Lebila, Bila Kevas Bo. All right, so since he shouldn't be able to fulfill show from someone else, so right, he shouldn't be able to work. Okay, good. Now, but let's really focus on the Shagas Aryeh's position, and that is that the mitzvah is both lishmoa and litkoa, and he brings there his rayas to that fact, right? It's both shmiya's kol as well as tkiyah's kol. So his conclusion is that from here must be that piv, just like over there where we say shemei kon piv shalchaver piv dami. So to over here must be as good as if he blew himself. So in other words, when he blows, it's as good as if he blew himself. Therefore, it must be that as it didn't like he blew himself. Now we don't understand this very well at this point, but it's we'll take it as exeris akasa for the moment, but we'll explain it in a minute. All right, now, so really, let's start with our question again on the Shagas Aryeh. Our question was as follows. It's clear that he holds that there are two things. There's the tkiyah and the shmiya, right? Two aspects to tkiyah shofar. He has to hear it and he has to blow. Now, I understand how the chatzi eved is shomea. The problem is, how is he tokeya? If he has a chiyuv to be tokeya, the problem is that he's not really being a tokeya. Why? The question is because for shmiya, we could use for dibur, you could use shemei ka'ona. Meaning, since dibur is mostly das, so it's 85% das. So you can hear that Shomea can be Ka'oneh. But the problem is, if he needs a Tkiya, what mechanism is working for him by shofar? We can't say something like Shomea Ketokea. You can't say something like that because, quite bluntly, it doesn't make sense because there's no such concept of Shomea Ketokea. All right, so that is our starting question, and that really is the question on the Shagas Aryeh. And what mechanism works for the Tkiya? He proves to us his Tkiya and the Shmiya. What mechanism works for the Tkiya? How does that work? Okay, so we took a few steps. Step number one is clearly it must be regular shlichus, meaning the Chatzi Evet can't blow, right? And therefore it must be that the free man blows for him, and it's a regular din of shlichus that works for the Tkiya. And we know regular shlichus, kamoso, actually 4 psukim, 4 rayas, more kedushin, one of them is shachtu kol adash yisol ben arbayim, right? And this is we learn shlucha shalat kamoso. One man does the shchita, kiluhu ba'atzu shachar the pesach. It says the shachtu so kol kal adash yisol, the entire kal adash yisol, and a shech one goat. How could the whole kal shech one goat? It must be that one man could do it, and the ma'isa could transfer to the tzibur. And that's basically the concept of shlichus. One person does the ma'isa, and the ma'isa transfers. So it's very clear from the Shagas Aryeh that shlichus applies to Tkiya shofar. Okay, good. Now, but here again, here's the meaning, and the ma'isa Tkiya that the Ben Chorin did transfers to the Chatzi Evet, and it's as if he did it, and everything is fine, and everything is wonderful. All right, that's step one, that we have to assume that the regular shlichus and the ma'isa Tkiya transfers. Step two is we have to answer the Ksosa's question, and that is that we know any mitzvah gufo shlichus doesn't work, right? Let's say tefillin. If I say to you, I'm a little lazy this morning, put on tefillin for me, right? It's a mitzvah gufo. So when Reuven puts tefillin on his head, the ma'isa of putting tefillin on Reuven's head transfers to Shimon, but Shimon needs tefillin on his head, so it doesn't work. So a mitzvah shemagufo, the tkiya is a mitzvah shemagufo. How could this work? Okay, so that's really where we get to work a little bit. We're going to start splitting things. So to do this, we need to understand the mitzvah of shofar. And we pointed out that there are two very distinct elements to the mitzvah shofar. There's the internal and the external. The internal is the way the Rambam says, Uri yeshena mishinaschem, wake up your sleepyheads from your sleep, wake up from your slumber. That's one element to shofar. Ben Asadigon brings 10 internal conditions. Nir v'nifchad. We should be afraid of Hashem on the Yom HaDin. Ask you the Yom HaDin HaGadol. Remember the Yom HaDin HaGadol, but Tchias HaMesim. So all of these are internal conditions. These are internal impact, meaning I listen to the shofar and impacts me, heart and mind. It impacts me. I feel tshuva, I'm changed, I'm a different person. That's one element of Tkiya shofar. There's another aspect of Tkiya shofar, totally external. Hashem says, blow the shofar of a ram. So I'll remember the Akedas Yitzhak. Now that's strictly external. So also, Lama Tokim Marin Kishim Yoshim, Tokim Marin Kishim Omdim, why do we repeat the Tkiyas? Tela Aviv Asatan, to mix up a Satan. Now these are external impacts, meaning the upper worlds, the Olam HaLyonos. What does Akedas Yitzhak do? It reminds Hashem. So therefore there's a balance between Rachmim and Din, changes the balance. That's what it does. What is the Aviv Asatan? Also, there's a balance between honest and mazid in the din. Sutton would complain and say it's mazid, he doesn't deserve any rachmim. It allows some mitigating factors. It quiets down the sun. Okay, now this is stam a havana of two different aspects of Tkiya shofar, and this helps us understand the Ritva and helps us understand what the Ritva is saying. So let's take a quick look at the Ritva. And the Ritva is bothered by the same question that the Rush is bothered by, and that is, why do we make the bracha lishmoa kol shofar? Why is it? We really should say al tkiya shofar or al shmias kol shofar, but why is it lishmoa kol shofar? So the Ritva answers as follows. He says there are two aspects to shofar. There's the repenting aspect and the appeasing aspect, meaning basically the Torah, kavanah of the Torah is the Shiur Adam Lachza B'tshuva. This is similar to the Rambam and the Rav Sadia Gaon. This he claims is the primary part of the mitzvah, to be ma'orim myself to tshuva, and there's a secondary part of the mitzvah, Gam Sheicham L'Ratzos Midas Adim B'Yom Hazeh. And also, to accomplish the ritzah, the midas adin, an external thing of the ritzah adin. So why is the bracha lishmoa kol shofar? Because that's the primary mitzvah. The primary mitzvah is lishmoa. The shmiya is the main thing to repent, and the secondary element, the tkiyah, that's appeasing. That's a secondary. It's also important, but it's a secondary. It's not the main thing. So that's basically what the Ritva is saying. Two elements to the mitzvah. So lishmoa kol shofar is an internal condition, right? It is a mitzvah begufo, meaning I can't send you to go be ma'ora b'tshuva. You know, I'm a little lazy. I don't want to say slichas. You go say it for me. That's wonderful, but it's a mitzvah begufo, meaning to hear the shofar. If it awakens me to do tshuva, it's obviously a mitzvah begufo, and I can't send you because that's not going to do any good. Here, shofar, on the other hand, the external one, la'aviv satan or kedesh yitzhak, to affect the upper world, that is very different. That's a maisa. Why? It's not. It doesn't affect me. I don't have to think. I don't have to feel. It's strictly a maisa, and that's a maisa that could transfer just like any typical maisa. So basically, the Shagas Aryeh learns there are two elements to shofar: the lishmoa kol shofar and the tkiyah shofar. Shlichas applies to the maisa to tkiyah shofar, but shlichas does not apply to the shmoa kol shofar because that's a mitzvah begufo. Meaning, the shmoa kol shofar, the primary part of the mitzvah, that's a mitzvah begufo. Shlichas does not apply. Tkiyah shofar, the secondary part, it does apply. But again, this is the distinction. Because tkiyah shofar is a maisa, it can be done aydei shliach. The shmoa kol shofar is a mitzvah gufo, can't be done aydei shliach, and therefore this is how the Shagas Aryeh would learn. Shlichus cannot apply to. I'm sorry, just skipping that step. Shlichus cannot apply to a mitzvah gufo. Why? Because since it's an internal condition, I have to be there. I can't send you. It's a mitzvah gufo. Shlichus can apply to tkiyah shofar. Why? That's a maisa, like any maisa, and it can apply. So now, at least structurally, we understand how the Shagas Aryeh could say shlichus on the tkiyah part of it, and not say shlichus on the shmiya part. All right, now we're
at this point, is Shemei Kaona coming into play at all?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Yaakov, yeah, I'm sorry.
I just want to know if Rabbi could think of any reason why somebody might say that you could be able to, if you're not able to perform the shlichus aspect of this, then you're not able to perform the guf aspect of this. Is there like any svara why that might be acceptable?
Why? One more time. I'm not following. Why would you want to do that?
I'm just curious about it. I'm curious. I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to say a name, but I'm curious about it.
Not sure either. Yeah. Meaning again,
would there be any reason why, if a person's unable, like let's say Chetzi Aved Chetzi Minachor, is unable to do the shlichus aspect of this mitzvah, right? Because he can't, meaning he can't blow. So
right.
Would there be any reason to assume, therefore, he can't be mekayim the guf aspect of this mitzvah, even though?
Well, it depends. You have a shliach for the tkiyah, it's not a problem. I mean, you can't split the mitzvah. You can't be yotze half the mitzvah yourself and half the mitzvah somebody else. You can't split it up. That the Chachamim explain doesn't work. Now, if you could get a shliach to do the part that's good, meaning the tkiyah, and he's going to listen, then there's no reason why he can't do it that way. He can't blow himself, but he could make a shliach for the tkiyah, and the shmiya part he's going to listen. So he's got that way it would work.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, good. All right, step 3. Okay, so now we need to understand this concept, because once we understand it, and by the way, gentlemen, I have to be honest with you, until I learned the Sugyah, I didn't have a clue what these words meant. It was exeris of some kind of, this Rashba Mamish opened my eyes to understand what's going on here. So let's begin. A new understanding. Rashba explains to us what Kolaroy Labila means. What he's saying is, if a person makes an adova, let's say 61 esronim, so there it can't, it's Bila Makevis Bo, right? Explains that why. v'tziv le'blot ksiv belula shema min hashetziv v'kadosh baruch hu mincha sheyach l'kayim mitzvahs belila. From the fact that l'katchila there's a mitzvah of belila, obviously you see from there that Hashem is mitzvah us to bring the type of mincha that you could be makayim belila with. So 61 is not something that Hashem commanded us to bring, right? Because 61 you can't do belila. Hashem said do belila. So obviously that's to be the kind of mincha you can do belila on. If you can't do belila, then obviously it's not the kind of mincha that Hashem commanded. So as a result, it's like bringing mincha from a kidneys and it ain't a klum. It's nothing. Now let's look at the mushal, because the mushal, I think the mushal was very, very helpful. Okay, so here's a mushal. Imagine the Torah said you must serve beer at the Purim Suda. Let's say this is a good fair custom. You have to serve beer at the Purim Suda. Okay, now, but there was another din. There's also a din that the Torah said open the tab before bringing it to the table. Not only do you have to serve beer, but you have to open the ring tab before you bring it to the table. Okay, now, what if you didn't open the ring tab, right? You brought it to the table before before pulling the ring tab. So now I don't know. It could be Makeva's bow, it could be not Makeva's bow, and because it's based on different psukim. But one thing we see clearly, this is referring to a beer can and not a beer bottle. Because if the Torah says open the tab before bringing to the table, it has to be something that you're shy to open the tab for, and therefore it has to be a can and not a bottle. So basically, this concept, the roy lebila, what it means is as follows: Kol she'ein roy lebila b'il Makeva's bow. The Torah is not speaking about this. The Torah is speaking about this. Meaning, if the Torah says l'katchila, you have to do belila, right? Now, whether it's makiv or not, I don't know. That's an interesting question. But clearly, when the Torah is talking about a mincha, we have an identifying criteria. It's a type of thing which you're able to do belila. If you're not able to do belila, clearly that's not what the Torah is talking about. So therefore, a carbon mincha, since the l'katchila you have to do belila on it, demonstrates that this is part of the definition of the mitzvah. And mixing it in, meaning it has to be something that's shy to mix in, whether it's makiv or not, we could debate. But this is the definition. Again, gentlemen, this is a clear definition. Kol she'ein roy lebila b'il Makeva's bow means the Torah is not speaking about this. It's not this kind of thing the Torah is speaking about. Is that clear? Is that good, Marshall?
So Rebbe's saying that the fact that you can't, it's not bila-able.
Right.
That's what it means. It means it's not bila-able. The fact when we say bila is makevis or not is because we want to know, is it possible to bila? And if it's
Right.
and if it's not possible to bila, then it's obviously not talking about that thing.
Right, because the Torah says to do belila on l'katchila, it's talking about the kind of thing that it's shy to do belila on. If it's not shy to do belila on it, that's not in the category what the Torah is talking about. That's why the Torah is not speaking about this. Meaning that's the beer can mushal. Meaning, and pull the ring tab. So obviously it's not a bottle, because whether it's makiv or not, we can debate. Right? In fact, let's look at bikurim for a minute, because I think it's a good example. Right, the pasuk tells us vanisa v'amarta. When you bring the bikurim, you should answer and you should say, right? So this is when you bring bikurim, you have to do this vanisa v'amarta. Now, if you didn't do vanisa v'amarta, what's halacha? So it could be makeva's bow, it could be ain't makeva's bow, right? Now it happens to be that it's not makeva's bow. It's not ma'akev. Meaning, if you bring bikurim and you didn't say, happens to be it's not ma'akev. But one thing for sure we see, if you can't do vanisa v'amarta, you're not in the category. The mitzvah isn't speaking to you. Why? Because kol she'ein roy lebila, meaning you have to be a person who could be vanisa v'amarta. If it's not shy for you to be vanisa v'amarta, you're not in the category. The Torah is not speaking to you. You're not in the category of whom the Torah is speaking to. All right, so far so good.
Because in Bikurim, if you bring them after Sukkot, you don't say it. But if you had brought them before Sukkot, then you would say it.
Right, but
right.
The worst case is, let's say I own 2 trees but no land.
Right.
So I can't say. Why? Because part of the psukim say, we thank you, Hashem, for the land you gave us, but I don't have a land. So and that's a person who cannot say, yet he's chayv bikurim. Does he bring him or not? So since he can't do blila, meaning he can't say, he can't be vanisa v'amarta, he's excluded from the pasuk. The Torah is not speaking about him.
He can never say it.
Exactly. So therefore he can't bring.
But the other person, if he brought them late, he doesn't say it. But
that's
if he had brought them on time, he would say it.
Right, and that's because of suffix. Really, if he brings it later after the time, it's more of a suffix, but it's not that he can't. Yeah. All right, good. All right, gentlemen, we're good. We're in a good place. Everybody happy?
Yeah, the only
Yeah.
thing is it turns Bila Makeves into a code word, really. It doesn't really mean Bila Makeves, just a code word.
But no, that's what it means. And there's culture, and there's anything culture ain't a roy labila. That's not what the Torah is talking about. Meaning, if it's not right. By the way, of course, it's a code word because it applies to mikvahs. It applies to chalitza. It applies to. It's a concept. The point is, what the Rashba is doing is explaining to us conceptually what the idea is. The idea is
It's telling us that every single time when the Torah makes a requirement, it's not. It doesn't mean that you actually have to do it, because Allah says you don't have to actually do it. You just have to be able to do it.
Yeah, meaning sometimes you have to and sometimes you don't. It depends. It could be, that could vary. Different halachas. Sometimes you have to.
Oh, so it's not always true that you're allowed to do it just because. I mean, let's you
Right.
bring 60 astronomy. It's
Right,
not
meaning-
pashut that.
No. Meaning there are some cases where it's where it's ma'akev and some cases where it's not ma'akev. But either way, it has to be something that it's shaykh to do it with, because if it's not shaykh to do it with, it's not within the category of what the Torah is describing. Ma'akev or not ma'akev is irrelevant. Sometimes, in some cases, it is ma'akev. Some cases, it's not ma'akev. Right? But I mean, let's say bikurim. By bikurim, you don't say you're still yotze bikurim, right? By mincha, you also you yotze. There's some cases where even though it's not ma'akev, but lamaisa, if it has to be roy labila. All right. All right. I take that as a yes. All right.
So all this we get from the Rashban.
Yes. The Rashba says this. He doesn't quite give the beer can mushel, but he would have. Okay. All right. Step 4. Let's go back to little chazara of understanding Shemaya Ka'ona. Now we have the case of Shemaya Ka'ona by Birchas Konim. This was the Beis Halevi, the Chazon Ish, right? The halacha is Birchas Konim must be said b'kol ram, right? Ko tivarchu es b'nei Yisrael. So shall you. So shall you. The Gemara says so this way, out loud. That's b'kol ram. So we know Shemaya Ka'ona works when Reuven makes the kiddush, he gets a din like Shimon made the kiddush. The question is, who is the owner? Who is the one who's speaking? Meaning, we know this guy clearly is the speaker. He's the one who says words Zachir Mashal B'Skacho. But the Shomea Ka'ona part, who is the owner? So the Chazon Ish learns, and the Shomea Ka'ona means that when this guy makes kiddush, he is a shliach for the green guy. He says the word Zachir Mashal B'Skacho, and he is the shliach. He is the mouthpiece of the green guy. Meaning, I hereby mamani you. You're going to make kiddush. I'm going to listen. I hereby appoint you to be my shliach. So when you say the words, your lips are moving. That's a din. You're my shliach. You're my shliach in the deeper. But the point is that it's his mouth is the deeper, and therefore it says the Chazon Ish, it's sufficient for kol ram, because let's say it wasn't a kiddush case. Let's say it was a Birchas Kohanim case. So this Kohen said the Birchas Kohanim out loud, and this Kohen listened. So since this Kohen is the shliach, so it's b'kol ram. Meaning, if Shomea Ka'ona is silent, is my listening has a din as if I answered, so it's silent. But if Shomea Ka'ona means that you become my shliach, then there's a dibur, a solid powerful dibur. It's b'kol ram, and everything's good. Now, even though the Beis Halevi argues, it says b'kol ram, it doesn't work, but l'maisa, everyone agrees that Shomea Ka'ona requires an element of shlichus. Now, I'll explain, if you guys want after, we can get into why even the Beis Halevi needs shlichus, but conceptually, for sure, it's a lot easier if we just think in terms of the Chazon Ish. Meaning, according to the Chazon Ish, it's mamish shlichus, right? This guy is speaking for the Shomea mamish shlichus, but it happens to be anyway. Even the Beis Halevi agrees to shlichus, but for sure, conceptually wise, we're going to think of Shomea Ka'ona the way the Chazon Ish because make life easier. Okay, step 5. Step 5 goes like this.
The Beis Halevi was only arguing about the kol ram part, right?
Yeah, but the question is, yes, that is correct. How exactly it works? Do you also need shlichus? Isn't as pashut, but again, it is correct though. But I don't want to get it off track on it now. But the point is,
But
again,
basically, it's similar to shlichus to shecht or anything else that we're talking about.
Yes, by Dibur, yeah, it's a shlich, that kind of shlichus, yes, yeah. All right, now here's an important mushal, but again, this is a mushal to what we're talking about. It's not the concept. And the mushal goes like this: Eina eved nasa shliach rabagit isha miyad baila. An eved can't become a shliach to a woman to accept a get from her husband. Isha ena towards getting kedushin, because not in the category of getting kedushin. Meaning, here's an eved kanani. If an eved kanani makes a kedushin, he goes up to woman and says, it's nothing. It's a joke, right? If every Kanani tries to megarish himself or something, it's also, he doesn't have a yad for it. He's not a Torah's getting a kedusha. Now, since he can't make a kinyan, he can't make a kinyan for this kind of thing, he can't be a shliach for it either. Why? And we say the concept is he doesn't have a yad for the kinyan, meaning, since, in other words, how does shlichus work? Shlichus works. I have an ability to make mekadosh nisha, right? Let's say I could go over to this penuya and say, "All right, mekadosh shli." So I have a yad for this kinyan. If you appoint me your shliach, so my yad works for you. Either I become the long arm of you, or it's my arm and the ma'isa transfers. But the point is that I have a yad to mekayim that kinyan. I have an ability. I'm in the parsha of that kinyan. I can make that kinyan, right? But an eved kanani, he doesn't have a yad for the kinyan. So if he accepts a get, it doesn't work. Why? Because he's not a bar hochi. Now that's a mushal. Now we're going to tie everything together. Okay. Now we can understand the shvulei leket. Let's begin with the shvulei leket first. So again, the shvulei leket says, "Mispalo v'shama kadosh kedusha liyatzim shmiyah." Right now, again, he wants to use shomea kaona in milashona esrei. So it says the shvulei leket. He's forbidden to speak, right? This is a muscle. Excuse my graphics. He's forbidden to speak. He's in the middle of Shemana Esrei. He's not allowed to speak. Okay. Now, since he isn't allowed to speak, obviously, says Shuleket, the mitzvah isn't speaking to him. He's not roy lebila makevzo. Meaning, Shemea Kona means you have to be a person who could speak. Then you do speak. The other guy speaks. I don't know, whatever. But one thing for sure. If you're not able to speak, you're not the kind of person the Torah is talking about. The Torah is talking about a person who can speak. That's roy lebila. But this guy can't speak. He's forbidden to speak. Kol she'en roy lebila bila makevesbo. Now, gentlemen, do you understand the concept here, the way the Shir Leket is explaining it, why you cannot use Shemei Kona? Let's stop here for a second. Very important point. Do you guys get this?
I understand it as an eligible and not eligible system. According to the Shibboleth Leket, if you're not eligible, you're just not, for whatever reason, you're not. And according to the Shagazariah, you are eligible, so therefore, Shemei Kona works. But they both hold Shemei Kona.
Well, now the question is why does the Shir Leket say that because you're forbidden to speak, you're ein roy lebila? Because the reason is because it depends on the definition of kol she'en roy lebila bila makevesbo. Let's speak it out a little bit more. Meaning, let's go to step 7. What the Shagazari proves from Chatzi Eved v'Chatzi Ben Chorim. I think this has become more clear. I'm hoping, right? What does he prove from this case? Now again, the Shagazari's conclusion is that there's a mitzvah shmiyas kol shofar and tkiyah kol shofar. Now, he can't be motzi himself. Why? Because if he blows, it's no good, right? It doesn't work. So he must hear shofar from a free man. Now, the problem is that he has a mitzvah to both listen, that I understand how he does, but he also has a mitzvah to be tokeah, right? So he must hear shofar from a free man. Question, since he can't blow for himself, if he would blow for himself, it wouldn't work, so he can't blow for himself. So how could he have a shliach for it? Obviously, he's not in the category of one who is a person who could be, he's not roy lebila, right? He's not in the category of one could do it. The Torah is not talking to him, right? Says the Shagazari, when do we say the mitzvah isn't speaking to you? Is by a case like an Eved Kanani. He's not b'torah to give him a kedusha, meaning he can't make such a kinyan. Since he can't make a kinyan, he's not a shliach for it. He doesn't have a yad for it, right? But so therefore, meaning he's out of the parsha. But look at this guy over there. This Chatzi Eved Chatz Mechorin. He's not out of the parsha. Nowhere in it's okay. You're right. For technical reason, when he blows, it's not good. He can't be yotzi. But in no sense do you say he can't do the Tkiya. No sense you say he's out of the Parsha. It happens to be like a technicality. If he does it, he's not Yotze, he's not out of the Parsha. And it's, right? By Nebuchadnezzar doesn't have a yad for it. Meaning, here's a key distinction. Well, you see, it's not the physical ability that matters to be considered fit for Blila. This is how the Shiur Leket learns. Physical ability is what makes you consider fit for Blila. And the Shagas Ari learns as long as his halachic status is one who's in the Parsha, he's fit for Blila. But this is the Machlokas. To be considered outside of that which the Torah is referring to, right? And to be outside the category, is it that you have to be physically not able to? Or the Shagas says, no, physically, that puts you outside the Parsha. If you're halachically unable to, then Enochanami. But, right?
He's breaking.
Wait, I'm not able to hear. I'm sorry. It's a weak zone. Say it again, please, Jacob.
Rebbe's breaking up pretty badly.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully, we've been
Rebbe's
Rebbe looks like one of those shuttle astronauts, like when they're doing the video from the shuttle.
Oh, sorry. I feel like one also, by the way. You guys hear me now? Is that a yes or no? Are we live?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, okay, good.
We sort of
I
hear
said,
you.
the Shiur Leket physically unable to do something makes you ein roy lebila. You know what the Torah is talking about. You can't do it. The Torah says you have to be in the parsha of what we're talking about. We're talking a guy who can do it. You're physically unable to do it. You're outside of parsha. So this mispalel, he's forbidden to speak. He's forbidden to speak. He's out of the parsha, not roy lebila. And that's how the Shiur Leket would learn. Shagas Ari learns says what makes him consider ein roy lebila has to be halachically out of the category. Halachically out of the category. This guy's
Rebbe, can I ask two?
Yes,
I just want to ask two questions.
yes.
The first question is: do we have an understanding for the Shibuli Leket by Chatziev and Chatzi Ben Chor and how he's able to be Yotzi Shofar?
Yes, excellent question, and I want to get to it. Just let me change my volume so I can hear you, because I can't hear you. Where's my volume? Where's volume? Volume. Sound. Okay, I'm sorry. Sound output. Oh, it's as loud as it gets. As loud as it gets. All right, sorry. All right. Anyway, yes,
I'll talk loud. I'll talk louder.
yes. Okay, you want
The
to?
other question is:
Yeah, well, let me, one at a time, so I don't forget. How does
Okay.
the Shiur Leket? This is an excellent question. How does the Shiur Leket learn Chatzi Evan? Meaning, yes, he disagrees. Meaning, if you ask the Shiur Leket, he would say, of course, if you're in English, you can't, you ain't Roy Lebila, and you can't use Shmek Ona. But he has to agree to Chatzi Evan, Chatzi Mechorn as a way of doing, right, of being Yotze, right? Okay. So, gentlemen, I want to make a very, very important observation to you. When this man blows the shofar, what is his problem? Does he have a problem with the tekiah or the shmiyah?
The tekiah.
100%. He can't blow it. He can't blow the shofar, but he sure can listen to it. So what happens? Let me ask you a question. Let's say you have a Chatzi Evan and Chatzi Ben Chorin, and he picks up a little of an esrog. Now, half of him is chayiv in it, half of him is potter. What's the luck when he picks up a little of an esrog?
He's good.
It's good.
He's half
He's good.
Yotze.
Yeah, he's Yotze. Whatever part of him that has to be Yotze is Yotze. Let's say Chatzi Evan.
Is he a bracha?
Yes, he makes a bracha, yes. Let's say Chatzi Evan eats matzah, right? Right? What is he Yotze? The answer is yes. Whatever is chayiv in him, whatever half is chayiv, when he eats it, is the whole mouth eats it. Whatever part of him is chayiv fulfills the mitzvah. So do you understand what the Shiur Leket is going to say? Of course he can blow the shofar. He's it's a perfect tekiah. His problem isn't tekiah, his problem is shmiyah. And so the Shiur Leket would say he's not even incapable of a tekiah. He's capable of tekiah, meaning by the guy in Shmona Esrei, he's not allowed to speak. He can't speak, so he's physically outside. He's not roy leblila. This Chatzi Evan is roy for tekiah. Why? Because he could blow the shofar, and the tekiah part would be perfect. His problem is he can't listen to his own tekiah because it's a half an Evid's tekiah. But he has nothing wrong with the tekiah. He has a problem with the shmiyah. So why can't he get a perfect shliach for the tekiah?
Wait, this is convoluted.
You what?
It's convoluted. It's circular.
Convoluted.
It does. Yeah.
The Shagas Ari might agree with you.
It's
Yeah, why?
because you're saying that he's able to blow, but he's not able to listen. If he's able to eat the matzah, and it's okay, he's able to hold lulav and esrog, it's okay.
Right.
So why isn't it okay if he blows shofar? Why isn't it okay if he listens to shofar?
Okay, the answer is because
The
answer is because shofar has two parts to it.
I'm sorry?
Shofar is an obligation to be tokeah and an obligation to listen. When he blows, it's 100% good blowing.
Yeah, fine.
His problem is his listening. He can't listen to his tekiah because it's a half of a evid's tekiah. But he has no problem when he hears the tekiah. What he's hearing is a half bad thing, but his tekiah is perfect. His shmiyah is bad. Most mitzvahs don't have two elements to it. Tekiah shofar is unusual that there's a tekiah part of the mitzvah and a shmiyah part of the mitzvah. So over here, the shvilek would say, of course he could have a shliach for the tekiah. Why? Because be'etzim he's roy for the tekiah. The guy in the middle of Shmuz can't speak, so he's not roy labila. He's outside physically, he can't speak. He's out of parsha. This guy can do a perfect tekiah. Elamai, he won't be yotze. Yeah, the shmiyah part of it wouldn't be good, but there's no reason why he can't have a shliach for the tekiah part, and he's going to listen, and everything is beautiful.
What? One second. If he blows, is anyone gonna be motzi with his blowing? Let's say
Yeah.
a regular Yisrael hears him blow.
Nobody can be yotze with it because
Right.
No one can be yotzi with his blowing, but he's okay to blow.
Yeah, right. In theory, meaning there's nothing wrong with his tekiah. If the mitzvah was only tekiah, let's say he held the mitzvah was only tekiah, he'd be able to do a fine job. The problem is the mitzvah is not only tekiah, the mitzvah is tekiah and shmiyah. Okay, now that we know that, so can he have a shliach for the tekiah part? Answer is why not? He's physically able. His tekiah is perfect. Elamai, if he blows it, he won't be able to be shomeya to it. Who cares? He's shomeya from the ben chorin. So it's a very unusual case. You know what I'm saying?
What's the difference between the Shagasari and the Shvuli Leket in this Eved Ben Chori case? What's the difference?
Very fine difference. The Shagas Ari would say to him, Shagas Ari would say, look, when this guy does a tekiah, he can't be shomeya. That means he can't do a tekiah. Don't give me this lumdus. Then he could do a tekiah, half a tekiah. There's no such. He can't do a tekiah. He physically cannot do a tekiah. It's as bad as a man in Milish Esrei, says the Shagasari. Why? Because if he does his tekiah, it's worthless. It's nothing. So he's not about tekiah. Not about tekiah. Can't have a shliach. Says the Shul Leket to Shagasari. It's not true. You're right. In theory, he can't be yotze. He can't be motzi, but he can do the tekiah. Therefore, he could split it. He could have a shliach for the tekiah part. He's roy labia. So it's very darkest, very darkest machlokas in how you view this guy. Is he about tekiah or not? Because on the one hand, if he's tekiah, he can't listen. On the other hand, he's a good bal tekiah. So that's machlokas shagas aryeh.
So Rebbe's saying that in following the Bila lines of their machlokas, Rebbe's saying that the Shvuli Leket would say that he's a good tekiah because he's physically capable of being mitakeah.
Right.
Whereas the Shagasari would say he's not in the parsha of blowing because his halachic status does not allow him to blow.
Right, and therefore he's in a roy labila, and therefore says the Shagasari, if you're right, Rabbi Shvuli Leket, that physically not being able to blow knocks you out, so this guy surely should be knocked out because he's not able to blow. Elamai, it has to be the only time that you consider ein roy labila is when you're not in the parsha. And he never lost his din of being in the parsha of tekiah shofar. And Eved, as out of the parsha, because he doesn't have a yad. And this guy didn't lose his yad for tekiah. Therefore, he's roy labila. Elamai's got a technical problem. He can't blow because it's good, but he's roy labila. Therefore, he can have a shliach for it. He's in the parsha. So the question is that called ein roy labila? This is the machlokas.
Maybe we lost you again.
Oh, now you hear me? You see the screen? Can you hear me? I said the internet connection unstable. Someone has a question. Michael, you have a question? Yes. Unmute and you could ask. Michael, you have a question?
Michael, he knows your hand's been up for the last 20 minutes.
I am sure we noticed it. All right.
My hand?
Yeah.
Your hand is marked as up, handing up.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. Okay, anyway. So this is the machlokas. Is this
Rabbi,
called...
so Metzius is
I think he lost his yad.
Yeah, I lost my yad. I think that was physical. That wasn't halachic though. Luckily, I was still Roy, so it's not.
So what is the Shagas Aryeh view that he's proving from this case of the Chatzi Abechor? What's the whole point of it?
Halachically, are you out of the category? Ain't already the bil according to Shagas Aryeh means you have to be halachically out of the category. You're halachically unable to do something, then you're not in the category. Then you're not really the bila. So, for instance, a Chatzi an Evet Kanani, he has no yad. So he's out of the parsha. He's halachically unable. Or a guy,
What about the guy who's doing Shmon Esrei?
so of course he's able to. He's halachically able to. So he's Kiyush Onus is the Shagas Aryeh. 100%. Absolutely.
The Shri Leket will say he's halachically knocked out.
He would say physically knocked out. Shri Leket says, how does right? I mean, the Shri Leket, the machlokes really is, do you have to be halachically out of category or physically out of the category? I got to find my slide, physically out of category.
Why can't we say the Shri Leket says halachically out of the category? Because he was only talking about a case of
The spalel is to speak. He's not halachically, it's that's not halachically.
That's halachically out of category.
No,
He's
no, no,
halachically not allowed to
he's
speak.
not out of category of a medaber. He's halachically not able to speak. He's not out of the category of a medaber. Meaning halachically out of category has to be the kind of thing the Torah is not speaking of that category of person. He's not.
There's no circumstance that the Eved could give the get. No circumstance. But this Mitpalel, he's just temporarily.
Yeah, right. They're right. They're halachically in a different category. But this guy, he's 100% halachically in the same category. He's a medaber, a perfect speaker. All right, listen. He, right now he's got a muzzle on his mouth. He's forbidden to in the Shemona Esrei. We can't say he's halachically in a different category. Shagas Aryeh say, of course, he's Roy Labila. He's absolutely Roy Labila like anybody else is Roy Labila, right? On the other hand, the Shri Leket would say no. If he's forbidden to speak, he's not Roy Labila. So that really is a machlokes. Since he physically can't speak, he isn't. Since he physically can't speak, he isn't the parsha of shlichus. So Allah is speaking, but he isn't fit for blila. Who is this? 1 second. I don't know. Forget that slide. I don't know what it's saying. But all right. But gentlemen, do you hear the machlokes?
What about a full Evet Kanani according to the Shibboy Leket? How does he look at him?
So, well, by the way, I don't think the Shri Leket would argue if he's halachically out of status. I think it's a kol shekain. He would not be. Meaning, and the chiddush of the Shri Leket is even if you're physically unable, that he extends it to that. But of course, if you're yad, it's not a question.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's quickly jump to Martin's question. Martin asked a question, he stumped me, and as soon as we hung up, honestly, I realized it wasn't. I saw the answer to this. Watch it. Martin's question was, right? If he can't hear, so he is physically out of the category, right? But according to Shagas Aryeh, he's not halachically out of category. He should be the same thing, and he should be able to have a shliach. Why can't he have a shliach with Kiyush Shofar? Gentlemen, what's the answer to this question?
Because you can't make a shliach for listening.
Exactly. He can make a shliach, but it's a mitzvah gufan. It doesn't work. Exactly. He could make a shliach. He's absolutely. You go in the driveway, please. Yeah.
Thank you.
He could 100% make a shliach, but if he makes a shliach, it's a mitzvah gufan. It won't work. Gentlemen,
It's that simple.
Yes. I didn't realize it. As soon as I hung up, I realized. Meaning, you're right. It's 100% right. He could make a shliach. I'm just going to get out of the car for 1 second. Hold, please, 1 second. Thank you very much. Sorry, give me 1 second. Just leave it. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I'm just bringing the suitcases in the door and we'll pick back up.
Great. Thank you so much.
Okay.
But
well,
he can make a shliach for the medaber part, diber part.
right. So, your question was that this person who's medaber v'eino shomita, right? He can't hear. So, but he's halachically not out of status. So if he's luckily not on a status, the Gemara says that if a guy who's deaf blows the shofar, he's not yotzei because he's not able to do this mitzvah, right? Your question
Yeah.
was, but why? He's not luckily out of the status. He's the same as any normal person. So why can't he make a shliach? The answer is he can make a shliach. He makes a shliach for the tkiya, makes a shliach for the shmiyah. The problem is when he makes a shliach for the shmiyah, that man who's
It's on the go. Okay. I
right,
got that. So
it doesn't work.
oh,
Right.
wait. So let's break it down into two pieces. I'm not giving up so fast.
Okay.
The part of the hearing is easy to say he can't make a shliach.
Right.
I don't want to go that way. I want to say that since he can't hear, it does not mean that he can't blow.
Right.
And he makes a shliach for the other part, the Dibur part. So he's got
right.
he's got a shliach for the Dibur part, which we say you're allowed to have.
Right.
And for the Shmiyah part, he himself is blowing, which he is able to accomplish even though he himself doesn't hear because he is blowing.
Right, but here's the problem. He's got Kia shofar and Shmiyah shofar. Now, the Kia part he can make a shliach for, and it's great, and it's wonderful. The problem is the Shmiyah part he can't hear, and he can't make a shliach.
No.
Why? Because it's a mitzvah begufo.
Okay.
So
You're saying he
why
can't
can't
get
he blow for other people? Why can't he blow for other people?
Because he's not chayiv b'dover. Since he can't be yotzei, he's not
chayiv b'dover. You can't do for others.
Right.
Yeah.
Since he can't hear, he's patur on both.
Yeah, well, because he can never be yotzei the mitzvah, he's not chayiv b'dover. The Torah can't be chayiv somebody who's not able to be yotzei. So if he can't ever be yotzei, he can't be chayiv b'dover. If he's not chayiv b'dover, right? So he can't be motzi anybody either. Right? Exactly.
How did Rebbe get out of the carbon Pesach issue for the Shibuli Leket?
Okay. What's the question?
The question is, according to Shibuli Leket, we're talking about what makes you Ein Roy L'Bila is a physical incapacity.
Right.
So let's say a guy is physically incapable of doing the carbon Pesach. So how can you be a shliach for him? How could the Kohen who's shechting be a shliach for him? He's physically not in the parsha.
He's not physically not able to do the mitzvah. He's physically incapable of doing the actions of the mitzvah. There's a difference.
Yeah, that's an Elam, and Elam's the same way. And Elam is in the parsha. Technically, he's a Jewish regular guy. He just can't talk. How is that different than a guy who can't shech the carbon Pesach? He has no arms or legs.
So what is I'm curious, what is halacha?
Which brings a bigger question, which is Mehechi Tasi, the Shvilak really argues with Shagasari and the Shagasari's case. You could say even that the Shvilak agrees with the Shagasari and the Shagasari's case.
Wait, hold on a second. This case, Yaakov, it's a very interesting question. I don't know what the halacha is. I don't know what the Shvilak would say. I mean, maybe the answer is, the various, the Gemara discusses doing shchita with your foot, doing ksiva with your foot. Maybe he's still able to, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. The question is, if you could do ksiva with your foot, can you write a Sefer Torah with your foot? There's a Shiloh brought halacha. Apparently some people were pretty good with their feet. But it's not considered derech ksiva. There's special gzeres akasa by ksiva, by ksiva stam. Especially the pasuk says it has to be written in a certain way. But lule that you could do with your mouth. Let's say the mouth's a good example. For instance, for a special gzeres akasa by ksiva Sefer Torah, you'd be able to hold the quill in your mouth and do it. So I don't know, maybe this guy could do shchita. I don't know how exactly. I mean, if you find me a quadriplegic, mom, can't. I don't know, maybe but short of that, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Rabbi, is it possible that the Shvi Leket would agree with the Shagasari, even the Shagasari's case? Because Shvi Leket only told us in the case of the guy davening. He said the guy davening Shmon Esrei. He does not say for Ferish that Elam is. He took it as a Kal V'chomer, but you could argue it's not a Kal V'chomer. That the guy who can't daven is worse than an Elam.
Okay, but one thing for sure, the Shagasari is a lot smarter than you and I, kid, and he felt
he is,
and he felt it was such a Kal V'chomer that he had to answer it up. He felt it was so obvious that the Shuri Leket would say by an Elam case that he had to bring his whole piece of Torah to answer it.
Why was he picking the Elam case instead of picking a case, a guy who was halachically? Let's say the guy was a Milshmona Esrei and they're blowing the shofar, whatever. I don't know, chvais.
No, meaning don't forget the Shagas Aryeh's goal. He begins. He's a great sefer. He starts with Hilchos Tefillah, then Kriya Shema, and all the interesting shilas. His particular question was in Elaim, how does an Elaim Yotze benching and Kriya Shema and etc. Can he use Shemei Ka'ona? Now he sees the Shuri Leket who seems to say you cannot. Why? Because the Shuri Leket says by Medaber Toch Tefillah, if you can't use over there, Kal Vachomer and Elaim can't. So the Shagas Aryeh is a ganz fine lamdan, and he felt that if in fact the Shuri Leket would say by Tefillah, a man who physically can't speak, he physically can speak, but halachically is not allowed. Kal Vachomer and Elaim, who mamish can't speak, it's a Kal, and I trust his judgment on that.
Okay, so on that final step, what is the connection between the case of an Elaim and Shemei Ka'ona versus the Tokeya? We're not saying Shemei Tokeya. That's not going on at all. We're using the regular shlichus. So then what is the parallel? What is the nimshol that we're learning from the case of the Eved that's teaching us by Elaim?
One point only. How do you define kol haroy lebila ein lebila makeves bo? What's called ein haroy lebila? The Shuri Leket said if physically you cannot do something, you're out of the category and you're considered ein haroy lebila. Says the Shagas Aryeh, I'll prove to you you're wrong. I'll prove to you the definition is halachically out of the category. Why? Because let's exactly look at our Chatzi Eved. Our Chatzi Eved can't blow physically. He's in trouble. He can't blow. And if he blows, it's no good. Yet the other guy could be motzi him. What do you see from that? That the definition isn't physical ability to blow. It's a halachic definition.
So an Eved, Chatzi Eved, Chatzi Mechorin is like an Elaim in the sense that they each are what? They're not halachically out of the category?
So according to the Shagas Aryeh, would say they're physically not able, but halachically able. Meaning this guy over here, he's physically able to blow. So, but according to Shuri Leket, if physically you're unable to do something, you're not roy lebila, right? We had this guy, the Eino Medaber, right? He's mispelled. He's forbidden to speak. He says the Shuri Leket that makes him mamish and Eino. He's out of the category, right? He's Eino roy lebila. Why? Because since he physically can't speak, he's Eino roy lebila. He's outside of what the Torah is talking about, right? Says the Shagas Aryeh. I'll prove to you wrong. Why? Because look at the Chatzi Eved. He also can't blow. Yet he gets a din of a tokeya. He can use the shliach for the tekiya. So obviously, you see, he's roy lebila, even though physically he can't. Obviously the definition of roy lebila is not physically able to or not, but rather halachically able or not. That's the one single point that Shagas Aryeh is proving. The definition of ein roy lebila refers to halachically out of the category as opposed to physically out of the category.
Are they arguing in how Shemei Ka'ona works?
No, not at all. But again, the Shuri Leket holds physically unable to do something makes you ein haroy lebila. Shagas Aryeh says.
So therefore, Mitzias is because this guy can't speak. Therefore, he can't do anything any form of speech, even halachic speech.
Right.
Blocks him. So a halachic speech of Shemei Ka'ona could technically theoretically work, but he's knocked out of the category already.
He's not ein haroy lebila, and Torah doesn't speak.
Ein haroy lebila, therefore, even though technically Shemei Ka'ona can work on him, it doesn't work on him.
Right.
Because he can't speak.
Says Shagas Aryeh, I'll prove to you wrong. Why? Because look at a Chatzi Eved. A Chatzi Eved, he can't blow the shofar, yet he can have a shliach with a shofar. Why don't you say he's ein haroy lebila? It must be you got the wrong definition of ein haroy lebila. The definition of ein haroy lebila is halachically out of the category. That's when you're ein haroy lebila. But if you're physically out of the category, who cares?
So we started off, I think, understanding this as a machlokas in Shemei Ka'ona, but this is not a halachic machlokas Shemei Ka'ona. This is actually machlokas in bila.
Correct. Absolutely nothing to do with Shemei Ka'ona, having strictly to do with the definition of what's considered ein haroy lebila. That's why the Rashbam is so important. When we understand the concept of ein haroy lebila, now we can understand how the Shuri Leket and the Shagas Aryeh are arguing in a very small prat in that concept. But it's only when we understand the Rashbam. The Rashbam is the one who opens our eyes to say ein haroy lebila means if you're not able to do it, you're not in the parsha what the Torah is talking about. Your beer can or soda can, meaning the Torah is not talking to a guy like you because you're not able to do it. The Torah is not referring to you. Now the question is, what makes the Torah not refer to you? Physically, you're not able to, or halachically not able. What takes you out of the category? That's machlokas Shagas Aryeh.
It still comes out weird though that an Elaim he could be yotze all these other mitzvahs, but l'chara he wouldn't be able to be yotze. He wouldn't be able to do bikurim, for example.
No, Bikurim, he might be able to. But the problem he has with Shmiya, Tekiya has the shofar has two elements to it. It has Tekiya and Shmiya.
I understand that, but that's not no, the tekiya has nothing to do with the elaim. The elaim
Or
wants to
Elam, what's an Elam? A mute or a deaf person?
Elaim is a person who's mute, right? That's what the
I know,
case
they
the
use
Shakasari is
the
talking about.
Yeah, that person. Good. Okay.
So that
Even
person,
before
he can do
Davi, yeah.
Shemei Kana for everything, but he probably can't do it for Bikurim.
According to the Shagazari, why not?
He wouldn't be considered knocked out because he's not able to say those psukim.
Why not? Why can't he say the psukim? He used Shemei Kona for the psukim. He's perfectly able to do Bikurim. According to the Shur Leket, no. But according to the Shagazari, absolutely. He could say Shema, he could bench, he could say Bikurim. He could probably do, according to Chazanish, he could do Birchas Kohanim.
Well, according to the Chazanish, not according to the Chazanish, not according to
right. But according to the Chazanish, but Kol Ram, but he has no voice, but Kol Ram. Why Shemei Kona? And the point is, he's Roy Labila. And if we could use Shemei Kona, says the Shur Leket, he's not Roy Labila. He physically can't speak. He's out of the Torah. Is not talking to a guy like him.
Does the Shvili Leket say the reason is Ein Roy Labila, or is that the Shakazari is applying the?
He really defined the Shagazari helps us understand the Shur Leket. He defines it more clearly. The Shur Leket just says that he's a medaber. He's not able to, since he's Ein Roy Labila, he can't use Shemei Kona. But it's not very clear. The Shagazari helps us understand better. But one second, I have to say something right now. And everything is beautiful. Martin, you hear this? Is gorgeous, a beautiful split. The question is the mitzvah speaking to you? Kol shein ro'eh bila means the mitzvah isn't speaking to you. Now, what is it? What makes it? What puts you in the category that the mitzvah isn't speaking to you? Is it physically that you're not able to do it? That the Torah, not, or is it in a halachic category that you're not able to do it? That is the machlokas. So let's just see it very quickly and very clearly.
But either way, Rabbi, but either way, it's going to hurt you, because if you physically can't do it, then halachically you're not required to do it. Therefore, halachically you're not doing it. And if it's halachically, so
right. The Shur Leket says you can't do it. That's correct. According to Shur Leket, you can. But the Shagazari says it's not based on physical ability. It's based on the halachic status, and therefore you can use Shemei Ka'oneh, or you could use the Tekiya, the Chatziyah, could use the Shlich for the Tekiya.
Rabbi, why does the Shagazari spend the whole paragraph going into the right after he asks the question? He says that Shemei Kona is really like lechatchila, and it's his piv is like my piv.
I was hoping nobody would pay attention to that. Jake, you're too smart. Don't do that next time. We should have ended the call right now at 10 o'clock. The Zoom call ended at 10. I'm sorry, my account closed down. Sorry. It's a good question. I was thinking about that. So I'll tell you what I think. You see, what he's really saying is, I'm not really sure what he's saying. I'll be honest with you. I was troubled by that, and I didn't think about it. I was troubled by it once or twice. I stopped it, but I didn't get a chance to really think about it. So let me reserve judgment. Belina, I'll put it on the WhatsApp. I'll think about it. It's a very good question, because you're right. He clearly makes a big deal. He's like able to use it, since it makes all speech. Since Shemei Ka'oneh has a din of dibur, it's kipiv shechaveru dami. So it's not right. I agree. It sounds too wordy. There's something else he seems to be adding there that this shot so far doesn't address. So I want to think about it. I reserve. I get 3 days.
Because I mean, the partial way of understanding machlokas is that the Shvili Leket is saying Shomei Ka'oneh doesn't apply to him because he can't be Oneh. So therefore, there is no Shomei Ka'oneh on him. That's how I would understand the Shvili Leket. What? That
makes no sense. Why? Because the whole concept of Shomei Ka'oneh is you don't have to speak. The guy speaks for you. Let's say according to Chazanish, he's my shliach.
Well, you have to be Oneh. Someone who's not able to be Oneh, it shouldn't apply to him.
Yeah, what's your question? I make a shliach for Kedushin, and the shliach goes to Chicago to Makadosh Nisha. I can't reach. I can't try to reach. I can't do it. Yeah, what's it do? He's doing it for me. What's it do? I can't reach. I can't reach. I'm in New York. I'm not in Chicago. I tried Makadosh. I can't do it. Yeah, but I have a shliach who does it for me. So I can't speak. Who cares? I got a shliach who does it for me.
You don't want to make two machlokas, and that's for sure. You don't want to make two machlokas, and one in Shemei Ka'ona and one in
No, you don't need to. This is it's a very clear, very good machlokas about how you define ein roy lebila. Is it physically unable to do something makes you ein roy lebila, or is halachically at a category makes you ein roy lebila? And that's exactly the machlokas. You have the chatzi evid of chatzi ben chorin is an interesting situation. He can't do tkiya, but he's not halachically out of it. You can't say he's halachically different. So says the Shagas Aryeh. What do you see from there? You see that if physically you're not able, but halachically you're in the category, you're roy lebila, because we know a chatzi evid could use the shleich for tkiya. So perfect raya. And Shvili Leket, you're wrong. And the dakas.
That's why I was saying that it could be the Shvili Leket. You should say that a person who's halachically usher, he's knocked out, but in Elam shouldn't be able to be knocked out because the logic of the Shagas Aryeh is sound. Rabbi said that the Shagas Aryeh is smarter than us, and he was able to make the Kal Vachomer that.
Yeah, because don't forget when you're in the military essay, we can't say you're incapable of speaking, but halachically you're not in any different category. You have how does it Shagas Aryeh say Aryeh Rovitz Allah? There's a lion that's standing on you, meaning you're not allowed by the Jewish law, but when he's not able, he's able to speak. He's not luckily in a different category. He's even all right, gentlemen, this is good. Jake, other than your question, are we good?
Yep.
I think it's a very I happen to like this. I happen to like this. And again, the last darkest point, and this is the point. How does the Shvili Leket answer Chatzi Evid, which Yaakov was asking before, right? How does Shvili Leket deal with Chatzi Evid? Chatzi Evid's got to blow. So says the Shvili Leket, very, very interesting point. He says, let's look at this Chatzi Evid for a minute. If he does any other mitzvah, right? What happens if a Chatzi Evid picks up a lulav? Picked up a lulav, Gan's fine, right? Whatever chayiv in it, he did it. What if he eats matzah? Also, Gan's fine. Whatever part is chayiv, he did it. So he can blow, says the Shvili Leket. This man is able to blow. Why? Because he mamish can blow. And so the Shvili Leket says, if a man physically can't blow, like he's in the middle of Shemona, so he can't speak, okay, then I agree he's physically not able. But this Chatzi Evid really could blow. Why? His problem is he can't listen to his blowing. His problem is if he blows, he's going to hear a bad cold. So the shmiya of that tkiya isn't good, but there's nothing wrong with his tkiya. His tkiya is 100%. Says the Shagas Aryeh to the Shvili Leket. What do you? That means he can't be tokaya. If he can't listen to his tkiya, but he could say he can do a tkiya that he can't listen to. What? Come on. And everything is beautiful. I like this. I think I like this. I think I'm happy.
Maybe what's the plan? Is there doing another sugyah between now and Yontif?
Yes, 100%. The next sugyah is really, really cool. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
We are doing kavana in davening. Oh my goodness. We are going to do kavana in davening, and watch out, gentlemen. Watch out, because there's a Rav Chaim that Hashem Yirachim. I have to.
There's a Rav Chaim that says we've never davened in our lives, right?
There's a Rav Chaim that not only is dead wrong, I can't say dead wrong, but cannot be the way the Welt understands him, because it can't be. But it's very cool sugi, because it deals with kavana and mitzvahs, mitzvahs shrichus kavana. It's a very interesting sugi. We got to do it quick. So I'll send out more Makomos B'li for Tuesday. Tuesday will be the first day of the new Shiur, and we'll pick it up Mitzvah Hashem. All right.
We got Tuesday, Thursday this week. To the next 3 Tuesday, Thursdays, basically.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, we'll have to.
Sundays are out. We got Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and.
Yeah, we don't do Zoom on the holidays. No Zoom.
So we got 3 Tuesday, Thursdays between now and Sukkot.
Yeah, we'll have enough time, I hope. Yeah.
I have a Balabatisha question.
Yes, sir.
You go to shul on Rosh Hashanah and they tell you to have in mind to be Yotze the shofar blowing. Okay? Before hearing the last couple of weeks of Shiur, I always thought I'm being Yotze with the Baal Tokea. He's doing whatever needs to be done, and I'm having in mind to be Yotze with him, right?
Right.
According to what we've been saying, really it's a dual kavana. I should be having in mind that I'm listening, I'm doing that for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever part of it I need to be Yotze from him, the physical blowing part, I'm doing from him. This is like a dual kavana. I don't know if it exists anywhere else. Usually it's either or, and here it's like a double kavana, and I don't know if anybody ever thinks like this.
Okay, now let me go on record. La halacha, you don't need to be that sophisticated. You just say, I have in mind to be Yotze from his Tkiya, and you're good. Exact mechanisms through the Shmiyah, the Tkiya, whatever, not my business. That's, I have in mind, he has in mind to be Motzi, I have in mind to be Yotze. Now, if you want to know technically how it works, you're right, there are two dimensions to it. And when he blows, it has a din, I blew. And when I listen, it has a din that I listen. So really, I'm Yotze with his Tkiya, with the Maisa Tkiya, that part, and I'm Yotze through my Shmiyah. But again, you don't have to get fancy, because again, as long as you have in mind, I have in mind to be Yotze, and has in mind to be Motzi, you're Yotze. Again, if you're technically how it works, you're right. It's a pretty.
That's only the Tekiya part that I need him. The Shmiyah I've got to do for myself.
Correct. Yeah, of course.
And I never thought like that. I don't know if anybody thinks like that. I mean,
Baruch, what I'm saying to you, it doesn't matter. Halacha, it doesn't matter. In Lumdis, you're right. And maybe you want to be a sophisticated Jew, it's kedai to think that way. But if you have in mind to be Yotze, the mitzvah of Tkiya Shofar via his blowing, you're done. Because that's enough. Now, again, if you want to know technically how it works with a dual mechanism. I'm Yotze, the Maisa Tkiya, he's my shliach for the Maisa Tkiya. I'm Yotze, the Shmiyah, through my listening. So you're right. But again, we got a lot to think about on Tkiya Shofar. You don't necessarily have to divide in your brain. Like the guy who's Makadish Yol Manas the Kedushin Lefira Baruch Ber. I'm Makadish that's Moshe Yisrael, whether it's Baruch Ber Shad or Chai. It doesn't. You know what I mean? It doesn't really. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
All right. All right, gentlemen. Shkaya, good. We'll pick up. I hope this recording comes out. I'll let you know if it did. If not, I don't know what. All right. Okay. Good enough, gentlemen.
Good night.
Go ahead.